Enjoy the World Cup qualifying videos on this channel? Head over to Patreon for some exclusive classic matches done in the same style. Main event's been building up a show, so it's time for a What Happened on My Universe Mode PPV special! It's Halloween Havoc for the main event brand, where all those matches that we hyped up the other week on the What Happened on My Universe Mode main event show, you get to see them now. Yay! Starting with Cactus Jack, who was missing an opponent because the guy he was feuding with, Batista, got fired. Here's who answered the call. Oh yes, that's right, it's the What Happened on My Universe Mode debut of Goldberg. Sighting. The match would be fought under Falls Count Anywhere rules, but it didn't start well for Goldberg. In fact, Cactus Jack took the advantage pretty much straight away until he threw him to the outside, and after he'd hit the ring, Goldberg moved and kicked him in the head. But then when he went for a belly to belly, Cactus Jack reversed it once again. He was having a good day with our Cactus. Unfortunately for Cactus Jack, Goldberg did eventually hit that belly to belly before heading into the crowd where the two would have a bit of a brawl. Once the two men had finished their fisticuffs, they headed back to ringside where Goldberg had a spear waiting for Cactus Jack. He then hit a takedown, threw him into the steps and put him back in the ring where he had hit a selection of Goldberg-style power moves. Goldberg had the momentum and he celebrated that with another spear. Once he'd done with that, up he went for the jackhammer. And Cactus Jack was finished. Down for the 3 count, Goldberg wins on his debut. There was a meeting of mammoths in the next match as the Natural Disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon challenged for the World Tag Team titles against Sting and the Ultimate Warrior.
And these teams have been, the WWE Universe is on their feet in anticipation for this tag match. And you can bet that...
At the beginning of the match, it was Earthquake and Sting was struggling to get control, as, well, he couldn't do any power moves on the big old Earthquake.
Guys, discuss the champion.
Eventually, the Stinger thought of something. An arm wringer gave him the advantage and a big clothesline put him in control before tagging in to the Ultimate Warrior. To start with, the Warrior kept their advantage with a nice Japanese arm drag. The two began brawling, which gave Earthquake the opportunity to gain control again. He did so, and then tagged into Typhoon, where the two hit a gigantic double team move. Typhoon held their territory for a while, treating the Ultimate Warrior like a bit of a ragdoll, but he underestimated the big man, who flipped over the bigger man and tagged into Sting, where the two hit a lovely bit of double team action. Sting hit a few decent moves, including a stun gun, before Typhoon took control back and the back and forth match continued. He tagged into Earthquake, and Earthquake decided he was going to take charge of the match, destroying Sting. He would then underestimate Sting, who reversed, hit the Stinger Splash and tagged in to the Ultimate Warrior, who, after being ragdolled a bit by Typhoon earlier, decided to beat the shit out of Earthquake. The Warrior then defied physics to gorilla press slam Earthquake, and there was only one thing left to do after that, the backsplash. Typhoon was taken care of already before he hit the backsplash, and the match was won. The Blade Runners retained the titles. Two men who just haven't been getting along recently were the Macho Man Randy Savage and Andre the Giant, so it was time to finally settle the score once and for all in a steel cage match. Savage knocked Andre down straight away and went to escape the cage, but Andre, after being hit with one move, wasn't ready to give up just yet and beat Savage up a bit. Savage was having none of it though, and flipped Andre over his back somehow before elbowing him in the head a lot and then kneeing him in the head and generally working on the head. Having had enough of the headshots, Andre hit a reversal of his own. There was quite a few in the match. They had been going at it for a while. After choke tossing Savage, he tried to climb the cage, but Savage was up and took him down before Savage hit a massive pile driver. Andre wasn't down yet though, reversed again, massive headbutt, threw him into the corner, tree of woed him and choked him. Andre worked on Macho Man for a little bit before he went for an RKO for some reason. Savage reversed, took Andre down, and tried to climb the cage once again, and when he got to the top, Andre finally caught him and back suplexed him down from the cage. The Giant tried to squish Randy Savage and went for the stomp, but he missed. Savage grabbed him, hit another massive pile driver, and climbed the cage once again, but this time he managed to get over that top bit and started climbing all the way down. In doing so, he was victorious and won the feud. Well done, Macho. On the last edition of Main Event, Brian Pillman came out and called out Chris Jericho, and after some bickering, the two decided that they would face off on this pay-per-view. Here is that match. Jericho began the match with a bulldog on Pillman, but as soon as he hit it, Jim Neidhart turned up for some reason. He kept the advantage, but Jim Neidhart was there. We didn't know why. Eventually, Neidhart's distraction got the better of Jericho, and Pillman took control with an arm wringer before hitting a lovely head scissor takedown. Brian Pillman hit another couple of moves, including a confessional and a Russian leg sweep, before Jericho once again would take control, reversing a punch and hitting a lovely picture-perfect dropkick. Chris Jericho held firm, started working on the arm and hit another bulldog before going for a springboard splash, which Pillman moved out of the way of. He then hit a spinning heel kick to keep the advantage and moved to the outside to get some advice from Jim Neidhart, who he's evidently in cahoots with. Jericho went outside to get him, but was reversed, hit a jawbreaker, and then Pillman threw him into things. A quick mistake from Pillman led to Jericho getting the advantage again once he was back in the ring, hit an elbow to Pillman's head, but then Neidhart distracted him, and now he was becoming a pest. Pillman had the advantage for a little bit before going for a springboard clothesline, but Jericho reversed that into a codebreaker. Before he could go for the pin though, Jim the Anvil Neidhart was back on the apron distracting him, giving Pillman the opportunity to get up and hit another head scissor takedown. Pillman was back in control and went for another risky move, this time hitting a suicide dive. He brought Jericho back in the ring and tried to lift him up, but Jericho reversed, hit a European uppercut and charged at him, and this time it was Brian Pillman's turn to reverse, hitting a sunset flip, which would keep Jericho down for the 1, 2, 3, a victory for Brian Pillman, accompanied by Jim the Anvil Neidhart. In the penultimate match of the evening, Stone Cold Steve Austin was taking on longtime rival Booker T with one final shot at the European title, and the match was Falls Count Anywhere. The initial advantage in the match was with Stone Cold Steve Austin opening the match, reversing a kick before hitting a neckbreaker and a gutbuster and elbowing Booker T while he was down, but then he went for a suplex. Booker reversed it, hit a suplex of his own, then punched him in the face, hit a Russian leg sweep and clotheslined the Rattlesnake to the outside. Of course, on the outside is where Stone Cold is probably more comfortable, and he quickly caught Booker T and kneed him in the head and started throwing him into stuff. He clotheslined him down and went for the Stone Cold Stunner, but Booker reversed and he hit a clothesline of his own, before bringing a chair out and smashing Stone Cold Steve Austin to bits with it. On the outside, Booker T pounded Austin with a DDT and a baseball bat before hitting a spear through the guardrail. Stone Cold was a bit fucked, but he wasn't that fucked because he got up and hit Booker T in the face before powerbombing him onto the concrete floor. Following that, Stone Cold hit him with a couple more baseball bat shots and continued his beatdown in the ring. Once again, Stone Cold went for the stunner, and once again Booker T reversed and came back with a bookend. And to make sure of things, he hit him with another bookend and went for the pin. Stone Cold wasn't staying down for that. Booker T pulled something special out of his arsenal after that, a Houston hangover. This time Stone Cold stayed down and Booker T retained the title and won the feud. It was now time for our main event, and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, after attacking the Undertaker all that time ago and leaving him injured for 3 or 4 weeks. He got his title match against the Taker. And, well, Undertaker was a bit pissed, as you know from the last edition of Main Event, when he came out at the end of the show and chokeslammed Dusty down. As it turns out, The Undertaker was definitely still pissed at Dusty because he came straight out the traps and smacked him in the throat. He continued to beat on Dusty's face for a little bit more at the start of the match and went for a Russian leg sweep. After that, he signalled that he was going to finish the match right there and then, but Dusty had other ideas and elbowed him in the face. And then another one. He span the Taker around with an airplane spin before going for another move, but they might have both been affected by their airplane spin because Taker reversed it, slammed him, and then smacked him with some snake eyes. He didn't big boot him after like he usually does though, just another smack to the throat. He then went outside and got a table, because this was an Extreme Rules match and I forgot to tell you that. This had given Dusty some time to recuperate though, and he came out, reversed, hit an elbow and brought the table in himself before smacking the Taker with his combo. And after the combo came the finishing move, the bionic elbow. Taker was down, but he wasn't down for even a 2 count. He kicked out. Dusty tried to chop his head, but when he went to pick him up, Dusty got reversed and thrown over judo style. Taker chucked him to the outside, hit a DDT, and then a chokeslam. Taker was looking to finish things. He took him onto the announce table and pulverized him through it with a huge tombstone. Undertaker wanted to hurt Dusty Rhodes, so he put him through the table and then hit him with another tombstone. And this time he actually pinned him and got the 3 count. The Undertaker had retained the WWE title, but before he could celebrate, Macho Man Randy Savage, for some reason, came out and punched him and hit him with an inverted atomic drop before another huge pile driver. Macho Man's third of the night. Savage had one more move, the diving elbow onto Taker's head, and now we're all wondering, why Savage, why? Well, we might find out on the next main event edition of What Happened on My Universe Mode. Like and subscribe on Patreon and stuff.